Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Gemini. The Sun in Taurus is giving the light now to the Moon, which is in your sign, and we're going to the left, we're going to your new Moon. In the next reading, you have a new Moon. And the new Moon is a special moment because Sun and new Moon are both in your sign, and through that, you are able to recognize that you are the light and that you are the dark, right? And the combination here in the Lover's card is always that. It's you are both, you are really a union of duality, and in that we learn then to be in the triangle, the Venus ruled, right, Taurus, and you Mercury ruled, and Mercury is the information, is the planet of I understand how to communicate, I understand how to speak, and as such we learn now then through the Hierophant, through Taurus, the beauty, Venus, the love, and to recognize that there is a communication, a beautiful communication, right, that couples profit from. And so there's a very lush energy just through the Sun in Taurus. Taurus is, enjoying the food, enjoying also the sensual energy that can then happen between the dualities. And so here we have the fifth major arcana, and here we have the sixth major arcana, and we can see that this is the next step. The yoga position for the Hierophant is a movement. The pillars become the pillar itself, right? The movement is then that statement that we make in the world. And for you, it's of course King Pigeon, and King Pigeon is that beautiful energy to reach back into the subconscious with your hands, with your arms, because that's your body part. And so here we can see that we open ourselves up to a higher consciousness. So this just right now, Sun and Moon. And in the next reading, you have your new Moon. So this is going to be very interesting. You are, as Gemini, here the Knight of Swords. Is your birthday between the 10th of May and the 9th of June, then this is your court card. And understand that you have in between energies because we're still with the Sun in Taurus. So if your birthday is on the 10th of May, right, then you already have him as a court card and not the King of Pentacles. So have a look down below. I have listed, of course, all the court cards, and you can check also the positions that I'm using here for all the cards that are on this table. You are Gemini, the communication, and you are the third house of communication and interaction. And so you really like to talk, you really like also to entertain, and as such, you're really fast, right? You don't want the horse anymore, you already have the motorcycle. Back to the last reading where we had Aries Sun giving Gemini Moon the light. Yes, the world is always yours when you know why you're here. And the world has spoken, and even the lovers have come up. And of course, Aries is Mars, and Mars is the tower. And for the tower, I use the animal spirit, and the tiger has come up. And so this time we're going to look into Venus. Venus is the planet of beauty, is love, is all those things that we are wanting in our lives. And so we're going to look at the inner wise, because Venus is the Empress. Here in your deck, the Empress looks like this, right? And so the Empress is Venus, and that's the beauty and the birth that we give to the new creations. And so here we have the Inner Wise deck, and I'm gonna pick a card, a healing card out of 309 little cards. And these are healing modalities, the 301. So the Empress is speaking to you, the Fool is speaking to you, and the Magician is speaking to you. And it's beautiful because you are understanding now the numbers are really important, and I use them. And here the 301 is the sapphire, the black sapphire. Concentration and endurance to take the path, or to continue to take the path. In a way, a little bit of self-critic is helping you to grow. Happiness and success will then come. So the black sapphire, very beautiful. I have here a black heart as a crystal. It's not a sapphire, but in general, maybe this month to have a sapphire helps you to stay in concentration and stay in the endurance to continue the path that you have been taking so far, right? And in that, when you criticize yourself a little bit, to check always, is this necessary? Is this for the greater good? Is this love? Is this beauty, what I am feeling, what I am giving? Then you can always check on yourself and be like, okay, maybe I need to learn a little bit more to be self-loving so I can give that love to others. Good, we begin the reading, and so the Fool is speaking, and it brings you the King of Cups, and that's Scorpio. And Scorpio is the one that lets himself drop into the ocean of all possibilities. And as such, you are recognizing here the 8th zodiac sign. And the 8 is, of course, that infinite connection to life, right? That life is infinite. So here we have the 3 and the 1, which creates then, of course, a 4. But the 3 and the 1 together, we see that here the masculine magician and the feminine of the female are creating then the 4, the masculine energy to create and to be an emperor, to be a leader, right? And so if you do lead, then lead with your heart. Lead with your heart, because he's holding the cup in his left hand, in his intuitive hand. And so here you recognize very clearly there is a big dive necessary, right? The Fool, the Uranus energy that is speaking here to you is saying, really lead with your heart. Lead and connect from a level of love and compassion to what you want into the world. But we are going to the left, right? And behind it, through the Magician, speaks here the Moon to you. And the Moon is in your sign, and the Moon is right now going less and less into the new moon. We'll not see the new moon at all, right? It's disappeared. And when the moon disappeared, it's actually more potent than when it appears. Because like I said, here you don't have an opposite sign giving you the light for the full moon, right? And that's usually for you, Sagittarius. And so the Magician is noticing that, is feeling that, because the 37 is, when we calculate together, the Empress and the emotional intelligence makes a 10, and the 3 was here from the Empress, right? And then the 10 and the 1 is the 11, and the 11 is then inner mastery, is really knowing and understanding what it's all about. And so here you see the magic unfolding through the subconscious, through the magic of the moon that I'm including constantly. And the magician is Mercury, right? Like you. So the Mercury planet in itself is always the magician. And the magician is the one that brings down the information from a higher consciousness. Then I wanted to see what brings you the moon, and the moon is bringing you the Ace of Pentacles. And so here you have 3 times the 1, right? We have here the 10, and the 1 is the 11, and then another 1 is the 111. I don't calculate them together. It's a portal. 3 times the 1 is you have the strength to be the one. You have the strength to create what it is that you create, and particularly now new money, even though it's upside down. And when it's upside down, there's always the meaning that it's not there yet, right? So learn to work with the Ace of Discs, because the Ace of Discs reverse means she may not want what she is now offered. She may reconsider something that she thought she wanted. There might be obstacles or an impasse to something she thought she would get. And this card is saying, after playing a game with acorns, a baby naps by a fire while a leopard cub licks her stomach. Very interesting, right? So here we understand that the money is in the subconscious energy there, but for some reason you need to manifest it. For some reason you need to really dive deeper into what the moon means for you and then work with it. Because the moon is the subconscious, right? The moon is always that, like, yes, I understand that here comes a cycle. And I work with this cycle. Today the moon is in your sign, and so I feel it. You get my reading after the moment happened, not before. And I think it's important, right? Because otherwise it says, yeah, well, I influenced you. No, I didn't. Then speaks the High Priestess, and the 6 of Pentacles is coming. And so 1 Pentacle and 6 Pentacles creates 7 Pentacles, right? But the 6 is moon in Taurus, but the sun is in Taurus. And so the 6 of Pentacles is like knowing how to give, knowing how to take. And then 1 more coin is 7 coins. And that's then the understanding that I've done the work. I have the emotional intelligence, right? The 7th chakra. I understand how important money is, but money is not defining who I am. And so the stream of consciousness of the High Priestess is bringing you this intuitive understanding of money, the intuitive understanding of that money is important, like we see here, right? We have the body, the mind, and the soul in the duality connected, and you understand that the 6 and the 2 creates here an 8, and then the 8 again is that moment where you understand, yeah, with my emotional intelligence I go out. Even the emotional intelligence with the way I work with money is clear now, and I understand that the 8 is loving what you're doing and bringing that into the world. So here, as you can see, is your intuition in a very clear state of balance. And the 6 is connected again with the lovers, right? So you understand that the 6 is talking directly to you. Then speaks the Empress, Venus. And Venus brought you the 301, the black sapphire. And so here the Empress is coming up. And she is beautiful, right? She has all the 12 zodiac signs, and she is giving birth, and she is the morning star, and she is the one that gives birth to the new creation. And so there comes the 33, a clear 3-3 portal, a very powerful energy, right? And you had the 3 here as well. But the 33 like that is like you understand the secret brotherhoods, right, mission of the 33 degrees. That's what the secret brotherhoods created as a recognition of mastery. And there is a mastery appearing in you, the 33, right? And so live that, live this Empress. She is literally letting you know you are this beautiful angel. You are here creating whatever it is you are wanting to create, because Taurus is then saying, as the sun, you can create magic. You can be here, the 3 and the 1. The 3 and the 1. It's crazy, right? So understand that the 5th major arcana and the magician is the 6. And so you understand very clearly that the 6 is you learning to understand more and more how to love yourself and to be with yourself. And the magician is saying that, yes, you can do it here with the 33 degree. You are the one, you are the master, you're the magician, right? A lot of secret brotherhood masters are the magician, because it's Mercury, right? It's the one and only that knows how to take from above to below, and he has the infinite symbol above his head. And so here with the Hierophant creates the 6, you appear. And it's so beautiful to see that you are really like becoming now the 4, right? Which is then a leader, an emperor. Then says the Knight of Swords, right? Here in the center. Then when a certain sadness appears, the 5 of Cups, which is connected with Mars and Scorpio, and you had Scorpio here leading the world, but the world can be also heavy. The world can also be very sad. But you always have that 1 cup. You always have that 1 cup here at your hand. These cups are empty. This cup is emptying. But you have this 1 cup, and this is here Scorpio, right? Scorpio is saying, don't you worry, I am giving you a deeper meaning of what the 5 of Cups means as Mars in Scorpio. And Mars was back then with Aries Sun, bringing you the tiger. And so here the 3 and the 5 is an 8 again. So you have 3 times the 8, and 3 times the 8 means you become powerful in the way you understand the Earth star that is above your head, right? The 8th chakra. And so learn to work with the sadness, right? Sometimes I have a certain sadness coming up as well, and I feel like this melancholic energy, and I understand that something is teaching me that here we learn to be empathic with the 5 senses, right? Because it's then the Hierophant, the 5. You learn through the 5 senses that something is wanting to tell you something, because you see that we're not going into a black hole, we're going here into the void. Then speaks Gemini, and Gemini is bringing you the 10 of Swords, and that's Sun in Gemini. In the next month, there is this big liberation. This sadness will be gone, right? Because then you have Sun and New Moon both in your sign, and this is in the next reading. And so the 10 of Swords, Sun in Gemini is coming, and there is this liberation, and you will really be free. The 10 and the 6 is the Tower, and the Tower was Aries, right? Was the Mars energy. Yes, the world is always yours when you know why you're here. And so why are you here? This mental questioning, why am I here? It's making you sad. You are here to be the emotional intelligence, because the 16 turns into a 7, and the emotional intelligence is saying here deep in your subconscious you understand the moon phases. You understand you can be all the way down and you can be all the way up. And when you learn that, and when you understand that, then you know that the emotional intelligence is saving you from any situation. Any situation that brings you the 10 of Swords is like You are at the end. You are at the end of the quest. You are at the end of the research. You are at the end of the question, and you emerging as a complete new human being. Then speaks the moon, and the moon is saying through the dream oracle that here the 27, the heart home, the compassion is needed for you to show to the people that when you go through a difficult time like this, all you can do is to know it's your calling, to be in the emotional intelligence, and that the 9 is then the inner knowledge, the inner wisdom of the 9-9 portal, because the 18 calculated together is the 9, and here we have a 9. And then you understand the heart home, the compassion begins deep within if you let yourself dive, if you let yourself be liberated. But I wanted to see what comes in the heart home, and the 8 of Pentacles is coming, and that's the Sun in Virgo. And the 8 is coming here. The 8 and the 9 is then calculated together the 17. The 7 is Aquarius, is the star. And in that star quality, we understand the transformation right now of the Aquarian age. And the 8 of Pentacles is always the people work hard and become master, right? And here it's turned upside down. And you had 6 Pentacles and 8 Pentacles. That's 14 Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is then, of course, here the 15. And the 15 is Capricorn. The 15 is the attachment to money. And you have twice these cards reverse and one upside. So focus on this, giving and taking. Do not think about becoming a master. Do not think about only about money as a means to have money. You using money as an exchange. You using money as a love sign, right? As the love sign that you got here through Taurus with the one that was the 6, right? You learn more and more to understand that you are really now learning to be a special being, and in that specialness you get the 15. That's the attachment sometimes to money, but the 15 calculated together is the 6. And so you see that the 6 is clear here, the 3 times the 6, right? And you're learning also that when I calculate the 33 together, I get also a 6, right? And so 4 times the 6 is literally saying it. Then you understand that life is more than just money. Money is important. You need to be strong to handle money, but understand that Sun in Virgo with the 8 of Pentacles is like, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a master all the time. At home, you can be compassionate. You can let go of this kind of title, and seeing that the 8 of Pentacles, when you let go, right, then you understand, okay, here she is uninspired about her life, particularly her work. There seems to be no meaning or camaraderie in what she does. She may be underutilized or bored, or she may desire a change of career. So, of course, this is really intense, right? Because a group of women gathers to share their work. And so you cannot compare what you having, right? What you have is what you have. So don't compare that. And at home, really let go of what you think needs to be perfect. Because there is no such thing as perfect. Because then when the Sun speaks, she is letting you know that the magic is in the alchemical, that the 3 and the 4, the masculine and the feminine calculated together is the 7, is the emotional intelligence. And so the 19 turns into a 10, the 10 and the 7, again we get the 17, and the 17 turns into an 8. Then you have 5 times the 8, 5 times you speaking, right? Like the Hierophant is the throat, is the 5, is the 5th chakra, and so you understand that you're speaking your truth, and you know that the magic is between the two hands. You know that you are opening yourself to be an inspiration, a magical inspiration, because I wanted to see what the magic brings, and the 3 of Swords reversed, and again 3 times reversed the clarification, right? And it's the 3 of Swords is letting you know you're learning to arrive in a healing of the 3 of Swords, because 3 women are challenging each other with their swords. Reverse, there is less intensity in the drama. Perhaps she's gaining perspective. She's not taking the soap opera antics of a relationship so serious. And that's exactly what we see here, right? The home is something important. You had a reverse, the 8. Here, in a way, you compare your work, but you should never do that with what you have at home. That's your home. Your home is important. The 3 of Swords are getting healed. You are realizing that the 7 and the 3 is a 10. And so with the 10 of the Sun calculated together, right, the 10-10 portal is letting you know. Then there is an 11. The 11 is again the inner teacher. The 11 is again, I have understood that here these 3 cards created 3 times the 1. And so now you have 5 times the 1. And learn to understand the numbers, how they speak to you, right? And learn to arrive and learn that here comes an 11. And the 11 is, then again, you know that you have the knowledge deep within you. You don't need to fight, right? You don't need to be in this like situation, because you already had 10 swords, and 3 swords is 13, and that's the transformation. That's the death card. That's Scorpio. And in that transformation, you're learning more and more to heal those kind of energies, right? You don't want to fight with no one. And so the 13 then here of the 13 swords turns into the 4. And so here the 3 and 1 is a 13 reverse, it's the 31, right? But also the 4 is left. And the 4 is Aries, right? Is the Sun in Aries, is Mars, is the Emperor, is the leader. And so you understand a leader doesn't go in this kind of gossip drama thing, because then when the world is speaking to you, you get Mercury in Sagittarius, the 8 of Wands, coming at you. And it's almost saying, yes, then you will understand here that the world is the 21, it's the 3, and the 8 turns into an 11 again. And so you had 5 times the 1, and now you have 7 times the 1. And 7 times the 1 is to know the emotional intelligence, is giving you the understanding. And now you understand why Scorpio is looking at this moment. It's almost like he's saying, yeah, I understand, here comes something at you. And this is the new moon in your sign, right? And you are giving the light to the full moon, to Sagittarius. And so the magic is both ways. In your month, you get your new moon, but you're also giving the light to Sagittarius. And so it's Sagittarius is coming at you, and Scorpio is behind it and is saying, yes, I see everything. And the Emperor says also, yeah, I see everything, right? The transformation, the 13 or the 31 here is clear, right? That you understand how these things function and how these things inspire us, and that the 11 is back here. And so 7 times the 1, it's like you understand the emotional intelligence is something really important. Because when I calculate the Taurus card and the Lover's card together, I get an 11 as well, right? And then you have 9 times the 1. And so you see clearly that there is a completion, that there is a moment of like, yeah, I get it. I understand that something is closing, something is ending, and particularly with the 10 of Swords, right? Sun in Gemini. Sun in Gemini, you're going to give the light to Sagittarius, but this is Mercury in Sagittarius, and Mercury is the information. Mercury brought you also the moon. card. Remember, right? And the 37 turns into a 10. And so it's all gonna happen really fast, that the magic is here, the magic that is provided through the sun, and you are learning more and more to connect with it and to overcome these kind of energies, and also to overcome these kind of energies, right? It's all understanding that when we go down, we liberate ourselves. And so I think that's what's talking here, right? In your next reading, you're going to have sun and new moon both in your signs, and you're going to see, yes, I'm going to find the strength deep within me, deep between my two palms, deep in the emotional intelligence that I want to give to the world. Yeah, I hope I see you in the next reading, because, like I said, sun and new moon both in your sign. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.